Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. We know that decisions should not be made based on pathos, on feelings, especially in feelings that are high at the moment. Sleep on the decision for a while, let the passion wane away a little bit, and then use your logos, your logic, your brain, your knowledge, your wisdom, and then you make a decision. Unfortunately, in this situation in Israel, we have too much pathos involved and people with vested interest, personal vested interest in this kind of situation, which is the war in Israel. We don't have, calm people that are really don't have passion towards what's going on other side, which is the Palestinians and the Israelis, to make decisions that would advantage or would protect us, Americans. Unfortunately, we have passionate people who are skewed in one direction or another. We have the Americans who, for whatever reason that was never explained to you, I guarantee you that, supposedly you must have to have an affinity with the state of Israel. Why? The bond that you don't know how it was created, because you don't owe anything, they don't have anything special for you, you should not have anything special for them. But somehow you are tangled in Israel's life, and you should not be, as they should not be in your life. I think the Americans should be tangled in their lives, in the American life, and Israelis or Jews in their, in Israel, as the Romanians with Romanians, French with French, and so on. Maybe I was wrong saying French because French nation, very different than the French nation that Napoleon had under and was so successful. Maybe that's why. Anyway, so what's going on here? We have people who really want to see the Americans go and attack Palestinians, or under the banner of destroying Hamas, destroy Gaza. And while they're at it, why not Iran? Why not the whole Middle East? As it was that the New Century plan after the September 11? How was that called? The New Century, New American Century, something. Anyway, remember Wolfowitz, another Zelensky Stein with others, planned that they will take over and rearrange the Middle East for the American interests. It didn't work out. Whatever. They stopped after they saw how easy it was just to depose Saddam. 20 million people. Israel, never. Iraq. Then they went to the Mujahideens in Afghanistan, and they barely made it. With all this 740 billion that they had, I think, then defense budget, they barely did it with an, they call it alliance, with their allies. Then when they saw how hard it is with 20 million people, Iraq plus Afghanistan, as you know, as it is, they said we can't take on Iran yet. We should think deeper to make the decision. Now they're again at destroying Iran somehow. As they did with September 11, they said, who did it? Doesn't matter, we pick who did it. We're not going to verify. Whomever we want to punch, we're going to punch in the face under the pretext of September 11. The same right now with Israel. Hamas did what they did. Israel, now Americans are picking the targets. We're going to find a pretext to hit whomever they want based on that, as Israel does now in Syria, in Lebanon, under the pretext of Hamas and the attacks that occurred against them, and civilians died and all those atrocities. Now they supposedly have a carte blanche to destroy everything else in self-defense. But hey, self-defense is between the one that punched me, not the other ones. Well, the other ones were rooting for that one, therefore I can do it, and I can use collective punishment whenever I want. But only I can do that. You guys cannot do that. Why? Because we're special, I guess. So anyway, what's going on here? We have these people with pathos and some people who don't know on what planet they live, like that idiot right here. Biden insists, he doesn't even understand what's going on. He doesn't know population, armies, bullets, automatic weapons. He doesn't understand that. But nevertheless, he says that Biden insists U.S. can back two wars at the same time in Israel and Ukraine. I agree with that. I think they can. They can take on 5 wars with this kind of enemies. They can. I don't know in Ukraine, because in Ukraine they're fighting the Russians, and the Russians are very good. Okay, but in Israel, yeah, they can destroy Hamas and they can destroy the Palestinians. They can destroy Lebanon. They can, but Syria, if Russia is not there, and they can do a lot of damage. The problem is who benefits? Do you benefit out of it? Do I benefit out of it? Or they benefit out of it? I think they benefit the most, and somewhere down the line maybe we benefit. Now, cost benefit. You always look at that. What is my cost to do what this guy says, and what's my benefit? I personally have no benefit. You say, well, if you don't destroy them over there, they're going to come here. Well, you let them come here already. They are here. They are here. What they're doing right now, you're just trying to pretend you protect us. You're done. These guys are among us. They are all sides. It's just an order. They're just short of an order. When that will happen what happened today in Brussels. You know what happened over there? They are on terror alert in Brussels because two gunmen shot 2 Swedish football supporters in downtown, in center of Brussels. In center. Well, wait until those guys from Ukraine bring their javelins and whatever other weapons from there and bring them in Europe. You'll see then, and United States of America, through the open border policy that these idiots instituted. And you're going to see then. So they are among us, and I think they also have the weapons. It's just the order that must be done. That's why these guys are, should we do it, should we not do it? It's too late. You already got the enemy within. So he insists we can. Well, I think we can. The benefit, the cost. Let's go to another article here. We have this one, Yellen. Remember, Yellen is Jewish, okay? There's no problem with that. I think here is where pathos comes into play. Here, Alzheimer is right here. Right here is pathos, which is Yellen says she is. Remember, she is the how do you call it? The Secretary of. I always have a problem remember. She's with the Secretary of. We call it Economy Minister, Treasury. Goddammit, Treasury Minister, Treasury Secretary. She's Yellen. So she says that U.S. can afford to support 2 wars. She says America stands behind Israel. Period. Well, she's Jewish. Well, I should just put it. Okay, wait. I don't trust shit. First, why? Because I think you have a vested interest. But just by that, I mean, it's possible or impossible? I think it's very possible. And by these kind of statements, I think she uses pathos, not logos. But she's going to use us for the war and you, America. America means you and I as well. Stand behind Israel, period, because Yellen said so. Well, I think I'm a free person to choose, right? Free to choose? So, fuck you, Yellen. Let's go with that one. Then we got this one, right? We got this article right here from Sputnik. And we have here a former army commander says U.S. can't support 2 proxy wars. I think it can, but I think United States of America, you and I, the American population, will be hurt a lot. And not only the current population, our children, our grandchildren, and so on, will have less than we had. I think, yes, we can do it. He says no, but I think he says we can't. I think we can. But as I said, the cost will be too high. And I personally, I don't want to get involved in this. If you want, send your child over there, send your paycheck, send your whatever grandchild. Do you go yourself? Don't ask me. I'm an American. I'm for America. I'm not for Ukraine. I'm not for Russia. I'm not for Romania. I'm not for Israel. Got that? Now, if I choose that is beneficial for me, I would get invested and do it. But these guys say, no, you got to do it anyway. Well, that's called the social contract. Well, the social contract goes both ways, right? It doesn't go only one way, but they make it supposedly look it goes only one way. So, over the weekend, U.S. President Joe Biden doubled down on his pledges to send weapons to both Ukraine and Israel. However, a former senior US military officer said supporting war on the so many fronts was unsustainable and would further degrade US military readiness. It depends. If you change the economy, you make it a war industry, you develop that, and you make everybody else work for you, you can do it for free. After Hamas launched we don't care about that here. Since then, Biden also sent thousands of small arms to Israel and deployed 2 aircraft carrier battle groups to the region, more than they did with Ukraine, by far. On Monday, US media reported up to 2,000 US troops were ready to be deployed to Israel, with plans to use in the non-combat support roles for the Israeli Defense Forces. I don't believe that. That's just a pretext to have them land over there. How are you going to check? They will tell you, and I don't trust them, so zero. All right, the rush to buttress the Israeli military comes amid a political fight, and this guy says that now the question is whether the US can not only support Ukraine, but Israel too. And I'm quoting, "We're the United States of America, for God's sake, the most powerful nation in history." Yes, but we have limitations. Don't forget that. Not in the world. In the history of the world, Biden said in a pre-recorded US media interview that aired on Sunday, "We can take care of both of these and still maintain our overall international defense." You mean hegemony? So the White House is expected to ask Congress for an Israel aid bill, which will be approved unanimously, but the legislature, maybe without Rand Paul, but the legislature remained locked in dispute. Okay, whatever. And I'm quoting, "If there's a choice, if it has to be one or the other, the support will most likely go towards the Israeli side." Most likely, 100%, not most likely. International consultant and retired U.S. Army Lieutenant Colonel Earl Rasmussen told Sputnik on Monday, "He's completely off base," end quote. Rasmussen said of Biden, and I'm quoting again, "There's no way we can support two. We can generate money and send more money, I guess, but it's not going to do any good there. And Ukraine's a lost cause." I think Ukraine is lost because they're fighting the Russians, not Hamas. I don't look down on Hamas, but it's an organization, all right? It's not a country with 150 million people almost, as Russia is, with nuclear weapons, with army, with economies, with, okay? So however you want to take it. And I'm quoting, "He can promise that or whatever, but delivering those weapons is another story. And getting the funding through, I think it'd be very difficult to do it. It would be very difficult to do it, especially if escalation occurred. A two-front conflict, and especially if we get involved directly with it. Meanwhile, we've got tensions increasing in Taiwan and with China. I think it's very unlikely they would be able to support both initiatives," Rasmussen said. "I would say for a funding, from a capacity perspective, I do not see our weapons companies. We've drained so much with Ukraine. We're running low on everything. We even had ammunition that we had stockpiled in Israel, directed and sent to Ukraine. So I guess Israel is apparently trying to get that back, which I don't think it's going to come back. So we are in a weakened position, and I just don't see that happening. I would say that from a priority perspective, Israel will have the priority over Ukraine. 100% I agree with that. It just has a more strategic importance to us as well." I don't think so. I think, let's say tomorrow Israel doesn't, let's say there was never a state of Israel, let's say no state of Israel whatsoever over there. I think the United States will have no problem dealing with the Arabs and with Iran and Turkey and whomever they need. I don't think so. Israel created a lot of problems over there. That's what created. Remember, before Israel, United States of America, Great Britain, the Turks and others carved however they wanted the Middle East. So it was then, all right? And then they created the state of Michigan, the state of Israel, and then the whole, and those guys attacked with what? What kind of weapons they had? Anyway, that's one. I think Ukraine has a bigger fish, the real fish to fry. Because if Russia doesn't fall, Russia will challenge with China and not only US's hegemony. Who in the Middle fucking East will challenge US's hegemony? Nobody. Nobody. Those guys together cannot even touch, make a dent on United States military. A dent. United States have nuclear weapons, can fuck them up in a second. Okay, so let's put it that way. But they have a problem with the Russians. The Chinese, those are these guys in the Middle East. That's why, from a strategic point, they kept all those guys in check, and one at everybody's throat, so they can get the oil in the Middle East with or without Israel. They have bases in Saudi Arabia. They do whatever they want. If they want to bring bases in Iraq, they can do it tomorrow. They have bases in Syria, illegal bases. They fight the ISIS by sucking the oil from Syria. So they can do whatever the fuck they want, my friends. They don't even have to be on the territory. They can just bring their navy on the Mediterranean and shoot over there and destroy everybody in 24 hours, if so they choose. So no, but they can't do the same thing with Russia whatsoever. That's why they try to harass Russia here, create an economic crisis, not only a social crisis in Russia, hoping that those guys will fall down and they will take over Russia without a fight, or this kind of fight that is in Ukraine. I think Rasmussen here got it wrong. Anyway, and I dare to say that because I made my point right now. Who's more important? Who can put in place, Russia or the Middle East? Middle East, you can do it like this. Boom. Sorry, that's the reality. Look at the weapons the guys in the Middle East have, and look what Russia has. You can't even compare. Economic, strategic, nothing, my friends, nothing. Anyway, so the former U.S. Army officer said that the events in the past week illustrated that Biden administration's real priority is Israel, and will be, I don't know why, I mean, I know, but anyway, which would get any and all largesse it requires at the expense not just of Ukraine's war effort, but at the expense of Palestinian human rights as well. What about our expense? Nobody talks about our expense. They think that we, the American people, are just going along because we're good. We have to be good on this one. So therefore, I have to, don't eat enough, don't feed my kids, don't do this, don't do that because of Israel. I don't do that for anybody. Okay, I do it for me, I do it for my family, for my community, for my friends, for my nation, and then further and further. This is how the priorities go. Israel will never, Israel or France or Russia will never come in front of my family. And if you take money and for my family, I don't care who you give it to, good or bad. You take it from me. This is my priority right here. And you take it from me and you tell me I have to feel for them. Well, I feel, but still, this is my priority right here, not those. They have their own priorities over there. Anyway, so Rasmussen, yes, I think United States can definitely continue. But the consequences and the financial effort, cost versus benefit, that's what will destroy us. We can fight, but we're going to have a lower standard of living. We will eat less. We will, which is sometimes is good. We'll have less options. We'll go back in time. We will become poorer. Why would I want to become poorer? I would like a horse, like a dog, crazy. For what? For less money to help Israel? No. It ain't gonna happen. Now, I don't want to be that bad, but I will be actually. If I have to choose between, let's say, having a worse life for me and my children, my family, my grandchildren, whatever they might be, okay, and saying that a certain country exists on this planet, whatever that country might be, exists or not, guess what I'm gonna choose? Living a worse life, me and my family, but that country exists, or have a better life for us here, and I really don't have anything connected with that country or that country or that country. I have connected with this country, but not with any other country. Well, that should be how things are. That's the way it should be. Oh, that's more important. No, if it's for you, you go. You go, but don't make me go. But the problem is they make me, they take my taxes, they use this, and they use this country, and the consequences will be worse for me and for you. For what? Anybody ask me? No. No. But you're a free person to do what? Shut the fuck up. That's all you can do. That's your right to zip it. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.